I'm here at the Creative Zone, and I'm going to talk to you today about direct and indirect painting, and I think you're going to find this whole idea extremely helpful, and I'll explain why in a few seconds. You know, direct painting is one method that artists often use, sometimes exclusively, and then other artists use the indirect approach. But you can see through this short little lesson why they choose one over the other, and then often why they combine both, and the benefits and advantages and disadvantages of each in a real quick, concise method. I have used both, and I have used one exclusively sometimes in one type of painting, and then combine them in another painting, and partly, as you'll see here, you'll see why I do it that way. So let's get into it. It's a really quick video. I think it'll really be helpful to you. Here we go. Indirect painting are two foundational approaches to building a picture. Direct painting works wet into wet, solving drawing, value, color, and edges on the surface as you go. Indirect painting builds the image in stages, drawing or underpainting first, then color through layers. In this introduction, you'll hear plain definitions, how each method typically flows, their strengths and limitations, and when each shines. Details and demos will follow in a later session. Direct painting, often called alla prima, means painting wet into wet. You work toward the final result immediately, placing color and value without waiting for layers to dry. Drawing, value, color, and edges happen together on the canvas. Because everything is wet, decisions are immediate. You mix accurate colors on the spot, adjust shape and edge quality while the paint is movable, and let lively brushwork remain visible. The strengths of direct painting are speed, immediacy, and expressive gesture. It's excellent for plein air, florals, and any subject where spontaneous observation matters. The trade-offs: it's easy to overmix and create mud. Optical depth is limited, and it demands confident value judgment and edge control right away. Indirect painting separates the process into stages. Typically, you start with drawing or a monochrome underpainting, often a grisaille, to set accurate values and form. Color is then developed through transparent glazes and controlled scumbles over fully dried layers. This layered approach produces optical depth and refined transitions. Strengths include precision, subtle modeling, and luminous depth. It's highly effective for classical portraiture and realism. Limitations include time and complexity, drying between layers, managing fat over lean, and understanding mediums. Over-controlling can reduce spontaneity. Side by side, direct is fast, wet, and expressive. Indirect is slower, layered, and deliberate. Each offers distinct creative advantages. Choose direct when speed, immediacy, or energetic brushwork is needed, especially under changing light. Choose indirect when you need controlled modeling, smooth transitions, and refined detail, especially for complex portraits or classical finishes. Many painters blend both. Begin with a structured underpainting for value accuracy, paint passages directly for life and texture, then glaze selectively for depth. Bottom line, direct painting emphasizes immediacy and expressive mark-making. Indirect painting emphasizes structure, depth, and refinement. Know both so you can choose the right tool set for your intent and combine them when it serves the picture. I hope you really enjoyed this quick little video explaining about the difference between direct and indirect painting. I hope that you found it helpful insofar as that you know that if you want to be very precise, then you should probably use the indirect method and begin with just looking at the values and structuring the values, like with your grisaille underpainting, or with, and you match those values. Then when you start putting the colors on top of the values, you can make sure that you've got the values of those colors spot on, so the structure of your painting is going to be accurate. It's particularly important if you're doing something like a portrait, where you really want to make sure you get the shapes right, you want to get everything just perfect. It's okay if a tree is a little bit to the side or the left, but if a nose is, it's not going to work. So I like to use oftentimes the indirect approach for portraiture. Though I have done portraits at my sketch club on Tuesday nights, the Milwaukee Sketch Club, which were done right there at the purpose, right portraits of the models, and they worked out well too. However, it's very important and you're just learning, I think the indirect method is much easier for you. Now, if you want to have loose brush strokes and you want to be like doing it right at the moment, then I suggest you, and you want that energy, I really do suggest you do the direct approach, the alla prima approach, where you're painting wet into wet. And so, you can adjust it with wet, but it can get muddy, so you've got to be a little bit circumspect in your color selection, and you have to have a little firmer idea of what those values are that you need in the painting before you begin. So I hope you see that, and you can see how you could combine. You could start with an indirect approach, doing your underpainting, and then you could start doing a lively brush stroke over the top. So there's some really good ideas to get in your mind and experiment with as artists. And don't forget, I have all these classes you can see here, and I have the membership circle, which is really a lot of fun, and we always have new ideas coming to it. So until then, this is Judith Reidy at the Creative Zone, Tuesday or Thursday, 2-ish, 2:30, something like that. Today's a little later. So see you again, and